My boyfriend admitted he's no longer attracted to me because of my weight. My 20 female, boyfriend 22 male, had been together for 2 years and we were perfectly happy and everything was going great. 6 months ago, he started working out regularly and he has this new diet with no cheat days. He's really invested and spends a lot of time in the gym. I barely get to see him anymore. He's been asking me to join him at the gym for so long and I stupidly thought it's him attempting to bond. I go with him sometimes. I even got a membership that just sits in my wallet most of the time. I explained to him many times that since I injured my knee last year, I can't keep up with him anymore and working out together is just not something I can do. He always gets upset and says I'm not even trying and it's good for me if I push myself a little harder. Last week, he came and told me that he doesn't feel attracted to me anymore because of my weight. My lack of motivation to do anything about it is making him frustrated. He said intimacy feels like a chore and unless I'm willing to change, he'll break up with me. I felt very scared and desperate. I cried and begged him not to break up with me and that I'll lose the weight. But now I'm thinking maybe it's better if we do break up, simply because our priorities no longer align. If this is something he's willing to break up with me over, then he's not the man I fell in love with. I just really hate to throw 2 years down the drain for something so petty. I'm definitely not skinny, but I wouldn't call myself fat either. I'm 177 centimeters and 85 kilograms. This converts to 5 foot 10 inches and 187 pounds. I admittedly did gain some weight since we started dating, but it's only 3.5 kilograms. Now he wants me to lose at least 5, and he says we'll set more goals along the way, but that's my first goal. I guess I'm gonna be single soon, and I don't know how to feel about that. My boyfriend asked for a paternity test. As soon as the results show that he's the father, I'm leaving him. I'm a new mom to a baby boy who is my pride and joy, and though it's been a roller coaster adjusting to taking care of the baby, the past few months have been great. Tiring, but great. I have a boyfriend of 3 years who's the first person, relationship-wise, I've ever loved, and I thought we were doing great as new parents, but also as partners. Friday, he came home and asked me for a paternity test. Just like that, it was completely out of the blue. I was putting away the dishes, and he asked for one, like he was asking what was for dinner. I'm a different race from him, but our child, apart from the skin tone, is literally his mirror image from pictures I've seen of him when he was a baby. I was stunned when he asked, and his reasons were that he had to be sure he was the father. He had to have that certainty. All I remember as he was speaking is just immediately feeling pain. The man I love doesn't trust me. He would actually believe that I would fuck someone else, cheat on him, and then try to pass off another man's baby as his. I've never ever given him the reason to think that I would cheat on him. I've tried to be transparent and communicated, and it wasn't enough. He told me he would give me time to think about this, that he wouldn't go behind my back and do this test, but for our relationship to move forward, he needs to be 100% sure. He repeated this because he, in his words, needed me to realize how serious he was. After thinking for a couple of days, I'm going to allow him this paternity test because I have nothing to hide. I never cheated and would never have cheated on him. Once it's proven that he's the father, I'm ending it, leaving the same day, and I'm going to try my best to be a cooperative co-parent with him. In the meantime, I'm coming up with my exit plan, place to live, and a lawyer to work out a custody arrangement in court. I hate my boyfriend's best friend. She's also a female. My boyfriend, 22 male, his best friend D, 27 female, and I, 23 female, are studying the same degree. We started dating less than a year ago during spring break, but he and D have been friends since first semester. I knew her, but we weren't very close. She was one of the first to know that we are a couple, and she was so happy for us. I didn't think anything weird about it until a few months ago. She calls him quite a lot, almost 3 times a day. They're very brief calls and for mundane things, schedule, homework, tests, things that can be asked by text. My boyfriend doesn't hide anything from me. He always shows me that it's she who calls him and answers on loudspeaker. The first thing she does after greeting him is to ask, "Are you with her?" Me. And he says yes. Sometimes she calls him after 2 in the morning or when we are in the middle of intimacy, so it's annoying. What made me go from being annoyed to hating her was when we were assigned the same place for our practices. Everything was going well at first. Sometimes she gave me rides in her car, offered to go buy me lunch, and let me work materials. I came to consider her a friend until sometime later. When other practitioners came, she got weird. She started referring to me as the idiot instead of my first name. If someone asked about a topic, she would say, "This idiot knows," or ask the idiot about it. I'd never had many female friends, so I thought she was just being funny. Then she started criticizing me. If I made a mistake, didn't do things as she recommended me to, or didn't support her in something, she would scold me as if she were my boss or my mom, always in front of the rest of the practitioners. I've always had a very peculiar humor, and I cannot hide it. If I'm in a bad mood, I don't want anyone to talk to me, and I tend to snap back. When it happened, she immediately got angry and complained about me with the other practitioners, saying things like, "Doesn't it bother you that this idiot is so moody?" Or, "Tell this idiot to change her mood," which made me feel down. In addition, she organized a weekly lunch outing with all the practitioners on Thursday, my only day off from the practice. I don't want to tell my boyfriend because they're very good friends, and since he's an only child, he values his friendship very much. I also don't want to be the typical jealous girlfriend who forbids her boyfriend from having female friends, but I can't stand it anymore. I've come to hate my practice. I don't know why she acts like this with me. I know she doesn't want my boyfriend because she has been in a relationship for years, and I'm not a confrontational person to make her stop. After 10 years, I found out my daughter is not mine. I got together with my wife about 15 years ago. She came with a pre-made family of a daughter and 2 boys. Then, in October of 2012, she got pregnant. We weren't trying to conceive, but we weren't actively trying to prevent it either. The date of conception seemingly matched up, and a beautiful baby girl was born in August of 2013. I had been led to believe until this last Saturday that she was 100% mine, and I never questioned it. But over the weekend, I took our youngest son, who was my stepson, but you all know I see him as mine, to a show choir event and met up with an old friend from around the time of my daughter's birth. A friend I met through my wife. This friend and I had a few drinks, and she said that she needed to get something off her chest, and that she's been holding a secret for years and told me everything. I was shocked to say the least. The next day, I called and confronted my wife, and initially she denied it, but admitted to having sex with the actual father. I hung up on her, and I had 3 hours to drive home with my son, all the while ignoring her calls. When I got home, she then pulled me aside away from the kids and confessed all. This little girl is my world, and I do not have any intention of turning my back on her. It's not her fault that this happened, but her mother now wants me to try to move past her indiscretion and stay together. Stating what we have built since is strong, and I shouldn't tell my daughter about this as the real father has no intentions of being part of her life. I do not think I can forgive her for this. It's too big. I'm so angry right now at her and all her friends that knew but kept silent. I can't leave because I don't want her to state that I abandoned my family. I'm afraid that if I do keep this secret from my daughter, that she will one day find out and hate me for it. If I stay, I can't talk to anyone about it. They will be confused and astounded that I stuck around, and it would make me feel like less of a man. I would bottle it up and let it eat me up and then rage quit my life. My husband has been messing around with his stepmother and stepsister. For a little while, I suspected my husband of cheating. I didn't have any justification for thinking or feeling this way, but I couldn't stop having this gut feeling that something was wrong. So, I decided to keep a closer eye on him, and I still found nothing. And for a long time, I was angry with myself for suspecting him and for invading his privacy. We went to marriage counseling, and I apologized for breaking his trust in me, and for a little while, all was well. But that wretched feeling never went away. I tried so hard to get over this feeling that he was deceiving me in some way, and I just couldn't. So, I decided it was time to hire a private investigator instead of playing Inspector Gadget myself. Let me tell you, this was the best thing I ever spent my money on. Within a month, the PI was able to confirm my suspicions, but it was a shock to find out that it was his stepsister and his stepmother. Not only that, he may be the father of his stepsister's newborn baby. I could have killed him, but I kept my composure, and I kept this information to myself and continued to act as normal as possible. Believe me, that was a very difficult thing to do. I slowly started detaching from him and even moved into our spare bedroom, and we continued to drift apart. I moved out, got a new job, and started saving money for our divorce. I got my life in order. Now here we are, almost a year later, and in the final stages of our divorce, and I've still not told anyone. I spent the last year preparing for our divorce because I'll be damned to leave this marriage empty-handed. I wanted to handle our financial affairs first because my husband works for his father, and I didn't want to leave him unemployed during our divorce process. The son of a cunt dragged me out our divorce and fought me for everything, even things that were mine to begin with, but I kept my calm, and I won't say a word until I get everything I deserve. That's when I'll tell his father, and his father is not a man to be messed with. I've been assured the check will clear in 3 days or less, and it's over for Robert, because as soon as that money hits my account, his mother, stepmother, stepsister, brother-in-law, and father will receive a beautifully written email with pictures and videos of what he has been up to. His dad will tear him apart. My girlfriend claims she was taken advantage of at a club by 4 men. Now, I don't trust her. I, 20 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 19 female, for 1 year now. She is a very well-accomplished athlete on the world stage, while I am not. After recently competing at a World Championships event in another country, she decided to go out drinking while at a club. I asked her to keep it light earlier in the day in reference to drink responsibly. She has recently admitted to me that she drank more than she should have, to the point that she could not remember what had happened for the first hour or so at the club. The next day, one of her teammates from the country she competed for essentially told her about what had happened that night. She faintly recalls kissing and making out with 4 guys. One of the guys is her teammate from her same college team, one was a roommate for her country's team, and the other 2 were random people from other countries. She claims that 3 of the guys forced themselves onto her, grabbed her, and kissed her. She also claims that one of her teammates intentionally pushed her and another guy together to make out. My girlfriend insists that she did not initiate any on them, and that she tried to break apart from the guys as soon as she could. I believe her, and that she was taken advantage of. I believe her that she did not initiate anything. However, she obviously did not take any consideration with me asking her to keep it light on the drinks. I've significantly lost a lot of trust in her, but not all. I don't know what to do. I'm considering giving her a second chance, but if this ever happens again, I know how devastated I would be and how I would feel like an absolute idiot. She has promised me she won't drink away from me until she has earned my trust back. She has promised to not let it happen again. I'm still worried though, because she will be with one of the guys she made out with in foreign countries 2 times in the coming year. She also is almost certainly going to the next Olympics, in which all of those guys will be there as well. Should I forgive her and give her a second chance? Should I forgive her and give her a second chance? If so, how do I regain trust?